Respect rarely disappears because of one major mistake. It fades because you respond the wrong way in small moments that you barely notice at the time. If you have watched part 1, you may have already begun to realize something uncomfortable. Not all disrespect comes from other people. Much of it comes from the way we unconsciously expose ourselves, react emotionally, and speak more than necessary. The world does not punish you for being weak, it punishes you for being too easy to read. In part 1, we talked about the foundation, controlling your availability, using silence, and creating invisible boundaries. But that was only the outer layer. The more dangerous layer lies in what you do not say, what you do not react to, and what you do not reveal. That is where silent power is truly built. In this second part, you will learn how to hold information as a weapon, how to remain steady when others want to see you lose control, how to speak less while giving every word weight, and how to let action create authority for you without relying on promises or explanations. The next 4 principles in this video are designed so that you are no longer treated casually, but instead receive respect. And when you apply them correctly, others will not be able to clearly identify what has changed. They will only feel one thing very clearly. With you, they can no longer behave the way they used to. They can no longer treat you carelessly. And that is the moment when everything begins.
Trick 5. Remain calm when others want to see you collapse. The moment you lose control of your emotions, you lose power immediately. And make no mistake, many people around you are quietly testing you every day. They provoke, poke, subtly disrespect, and push you into uncomfortable situations, not by accident, but because they want to see whether you will fall apart. Your reaction becomes the answer to where you stand. When you become angry, defend yourself, raise your voice, or try to prove that you are right, you give them exactly what they want, confirmation that they can control your emotions. Even if you win verbally, you still lose in terms of power. People do not respect those who are easily triggered. They simply learn which buttons to press. Truly strong people do the opposite. When the atmosphere becomes tense, they slow down. Their breathing becomes deeper. Their voice becomes calmer. Their movements become minimal. They do not react immediately. They allow a few seconds to pass before responding, not because they do not know what to say, but because they are choosing how to say it. That pause sends a powerful signal. You do not control me. Calmness in moments when others expect you to collapse creates an image of stability that is almost impossible to shake. The other person begins to lose rhythm. Their attempt to provoke fails. The power dynamic shifts. Instead of you losing control, they begin to feel uncertain. You do not need to win every argument. You only need to remain composed when others lose their composure. Over time, people learn that trying to challenge you emotionally is pointless, and when they cannot pull you down, they are forced to raise you up in their perception.
Trick 6. Speak with purpose, not with volume. Words lose value when they appear too often. In a world where everyone is speaking, the person who speaks less but at the right moment is always listened to more. Speaking a lot does not make you important, it simply makes you easier to ignore. People who are not respected often share a dangerous habit. They over-explain. They explain to be understood, to be sympathized with, to prove that they are not wrong. But every long explanation quietly sends a weak message. I need your agreement. And the moment you need agreement, you place yourself in a lower position. People with power do not speak to fill space. They speak with intention. Every sentence is considered. They do not add unnecessary words. They do not narrate background details, and they do not protect their ego with layers of justification. That restraint is exactly what makes others pay attention. When you speak less, your words become an event rather than noise. Scarcity creates value, and this applies to speech as well. When you only speak when it matters, Others begin to listen more carefully, analyze more deeply, and remember more clearly. They do not know when the next time you will speak will be, so they do not dare to miss it. Let silence do its work. You do not need to prove every thought in your mind. When your words carry weight, you do not need many of them to be acknowledged. Your presence alone becomes enough.
Trick 7. Decide slowly and act quickly. Rushed decisions create the impression of shallow thinking. They signal that you are reacting rather than controlling. But waiting too long signals a lack of confidence. The difference between someone who is respected and someone who is doubted lies here. They observe for a long time, but once they act, they do not hesitate. People with real standing do not rush to give answers simply to satisfy others. They allow themselves time to see the full picture, read intentions, and evaluate risk. This slowness is not weakness, it is calculated delay. It makes others understand that your decisions are not easily manipulated. But once a decision has been made, they act decisively. No hesitation, no circular explanations, no room left open for interference. The speed of action after the decision creates a strong impression that you trust your own judgment. This combination of slow thinking and fast action creates the sense that you are always one step ahead. Others do not see panic, and they do not see passivity. They see someone controlling the pace, and the one who controls the pace is always the one who is respected.
Trick 8. Let action speak for you. Words are easy. Anyone can talk, but action requires discipline, consistency, and a price to be paid. And for that reason, action is always more convincing. Those who try to earn respect often speak at length about their values, principles, plans, and intentions. But words without action teach others only one thing: your words carry no weight. In contrast, those who are respected rarely make promises. They do not explain what they are going to do. They simply do it. When your actions remain consistent over time, you no longer need to defend your reputation. Your reputation defends itself. People trust you not because you speak well, but because they have seen results repeated again and again. Evidence is always stronger than justification. Letting actions speak also means that you stop chasing immediate recognition. You focus on building real value, real influence, and real results. Respect arrives slowly, but when it does, it lasts. In the end, people do not remember what you said in long conversations. They remember how you showed up when it mattered, how you kept your word when no one was watching, and how you stood firm without needing to perform. That is the deepest form of respect. Respect built in silence.
At this point, you are no longer searching for quick responses. You no longer rush to explain yourself, and you no longer feel the need to prove your value through words. You begin to understand that real power does not need to be displayed. The 4 principles in this part do not make you cold or distant. They simply remove predictability. And in a world where everyone speaks too much, reacts too quickly, and exposes too much, the person who remains unpredictable is always the most respected. If you see yourself in the situations described in this video, leave a comment saying, "I control the game." Not to prove anything to anyone, but to remind yourself that from now on, you choose conscious reactions, selective speech, and deliberate action. If this series has given you a new perspective on human psychology and how silent power is built, like and subscribe. The next videos will go deeper into maintaining position, reading motives, and protecting your value in relationships that appear ordinary on the surface. Remember this: people do not respect you because you try to be good. They respect you when they sense that you are not easy to cross, even when you never say it out loud. See you in our next videos.